Hi, my name is Nicola. I'm a sound designer and composer for stage and screen, and I'm here today to tell you about my job, what I do, how I do it, and why I love it. I work in a wide range of spaces in large theatres, small theatres, in underground theatres, overground theatres, in a caravan sometimes, in a film edit room, in a football stadium. And what I mainly do is I oversee an audience's audio journey. Along with other creatives and the director, I make decisions and choices about what the audience hears throughout their experience of the piece. Now, there are two main types of sound designers for theatre. There's me, I compose and create soundscapes and music for a show. Then there's the other kind of sound designer whose job is to design the entire sound delivery of a musical theatre show, like Les Mis or Hamilton. Now, who do I work with? I talk to the director to hone down how sound can support the piece, other designers like lighting and costume and set to determine the best way to make the overall theatre piece seem coherent. I talk to stage managers and production managers to streamline the logistics of design delivery and execution, the cast to make sure the sound isn't distracting their performance, the venue technicians to find out more about the theatre space, and production sound engineers to get the sound system just right to make my design sound good. And many more other people. I use a variety of stuff for my work. I have an Apple computer that lets me run QLab and Logic Pro. I have recording equipment for sound effects and Foley, and a variety of mics. QLab is kind of the industry standard for playing back sound and music in a theatre. It can also trigger lighting and projection, which is really handy when there's a scene with sound and lights and projection going on, and you just want one button to press. I also sometimes use my phone. There's a handy app called Go Button, which I use when I don't want to bring my laptop around, and there's also QLab Remote that lets me control a show computer from my phone. Now, there's a bunch of stuff you can do with where you place your speakers. You can drive a truck down a travelator, make numbers sound like they're physically rising, make it seem like a baby's crying from its pram. It's called audio imaging, and that's a lot to do with where you put your speakers and how sound travels through them. Now, beyond the sound effects, atmosphere, drones, and transition music, I also love to explore how sound can be used in an interesting way. Sound as a character, sound for tension and release, sound for audience manipulation. I like to hone in on certain themes of a piece. Is there a song that keeps being mentioned? Is there something in the design that is thematic? What can I take from the script that is significant and meaningful and make it something more? Now, what do I mean by all of that? The best way to do that is to properly show you some examples. In Finishing the Picture, a piece about Marilyn Monroe, I used saxophone licks to represent Monroe's responses to various characters. In The Invincibles, the song Gasolina was used to represent an oppressive male character in the piece. I sampled the opening of the song as the phone ring, and then I distorted the song to represent the male character shouting at our protagonist down the phone. In Little Baby Jesus, every character has a specific sound palette, and we explored how that shifted, changed, and maybe even coincided in the piece. In The Glass Will Shatter, I used a variety of glass-related sound, including rubbing on a wine glass rim, hitting a wine glass shattering and crunching, to form the basis for a lot of the music in the piece, because glass was a central part of the show. So there's plenty of stuff you can do and explore with sound in theatre. The most important bit is to have ideas. Ideas are your most valuable currency. And keep offering. And also be empathetic and kind and have fun. What's the process? Well, it really depends on each piece. I'd say initially I craft a sound palette and collate some musical examples, which will inform everyone what the sound world is. Is it metallic? Is it 1920s jazz? Is it orchestral, etc.? And then we'll develop it from there. It's important that you know what the language of your design is, or in other words, what kind of rules you're going to keep in your design and when and how you break them. That's it. That's sort of a brief overview of my work. I love it, it's well fun, and I'm learning something new every day, which is pretty cool. Thanks for listening. In the next workshop, we'll have a go at audio manipulation, so stay tuned.